Hey there, my name is Pravus, and welcome to more Lords and Villeins. This series finale is sponsored by Fulcrum Publishing. A big thank you for that. You guys can find a link in the description down below if you've enjoyed what you've seen so far and you would like to learn more about the game. So we are currently in the process of a major economic transition. We are getting away from a purely stewardry-based economy and now moving toward a taxation and sockage-based economy, where people are going to get to keep at least a portion of the product of their own labor and sell amongst each other. That's going to be very, very interesting. It's not going to get its full impact yet, at least until we get to spring, because I'm still giving away all the lumber, all of the food and stuff that people are going to need in order to survive. But once they've all had a chance to stock up some of their own products, that's when we're going to move things around and I'm going to keep an eye on some families. There are some exceptions to the whole stewardry-based economy, though. So, for example, anyone who doesn't have a local customer is going to continue being sponsored directly by me. For example, there's no one buying glass. This glass industry will fall apart if no one's buying it, so I'm going to keep that as stewardry in order to make sure that they stay alive and these guys have a bit of money to work with. In fact, I probably now need to start paying these guys a little bit more than I'm currently getting from their rents in terms of housing, because otherwise they're just going to float, kind of even on money, gradually dwindling, buying food, because we're not giving it to them for free anymore, and then they're going to starve out. So let's make sure we actually pay these guys more. Same thing down here with the bowyers. I actually forgot to swap this around. Let's keep this at stewardry, and we'll pay these guys, let's say 30, because I have a slightly larger family. These guys have no one to sell to, so it just makes sense that they instead give it directly to me, and I'll see if I can sell any of this to caravans as they come through. Let's also change up the hunting area, because something I realize is I really don't want to be delivered any corpses in payment. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So instead, I'm going to allow these guys to keep all of the product of their own labor. Any animals they kill, they can sell off to the butcher. But in order to make sure that I'm getting some value out of this, I'm going to charge them a very small amount of land rents, basically. You pay me for the right to hunt somewhere in my town, a very small, modest amount, right? Plus your land rents for your housing, and then anything you capture, you can sell off. I'm going to keep an eye on these guys and make sure that they're making enough money to stay alive. Once you get to the sockage-based economy, like we're doing right now, this is where the game suddenly becomes very delicate. We've been able to manage this pretty effectively so far by taking all of the products. We just had a very delayed impact. But now it's a balancing act, and this is where the game starts to get very, very complex. Something I am going to do at some point soon is probably request another farming family, because something I've learned here is you really can never have enough farmers and foragers. You always will benefit from having a few more. Right? And what I want is probably at least one farmer family that is retained by me as steward employees. Reason being, even though I'm getting the lion's share of resources from our sockage farms over in these different directions, I would hate to find myself in a position where I don't have enough food to pay off the king, right? Based on the tax requirements there. Having at least one family that's producing enough food to take care of my nobles, and also I can direct some of the growth for specific crops if I find myself getting a little bit short when it comes to tax season, could be helpful for me. So I'm going to request another probably very soon. Might as well wait until we get a little bit closer to the end of winter, give this one more re-roll and see if we get lucky to get one that's a bit cheap. But otherwise, yeah, we'll go for a fairly proficient large family and see if we can use these guys to just make me loads and loads and loads of crops that I control directly. Not that I can't still, direct exactly what the priorities are going to be for everyone else. I can still do that. I just want to make sure that I get the entirety of the harvest, just in case. I'd hate to find out that 70% of the Colville farm put me just under what I'm supposed to give to the king. You know what I mean? One family I really don't know what to do with is actually going to be the carpentry family over here, because these guys have been making freaking bank this entire game. Reason being, every time you want to build some furniture or some wooden walls, you have to pay these guys, not to mention they don't get the resources they need. They've been getting all of the resources for free from me, but people still have to pay them for their labor. The result is the carpenters are sitting on, let's see, 6.2 and 7.2. They're sitting on a ridiculous amount of gold, like 13.4 gold right now. That's a lot. So I'm raising up their rent by a lot. Like, let's say I was doing 50 silver. Let's say like 60 silver a season right now. I know that's high, but I don't know any other way to really tax them. I don't care about the building kits that they're able to make and then sell. That doesn't seem useful to me, but I do need to get some taxes for them sitting here and then getting a ridiculous amount of cash. This is a huge inequity. So I'm going to try for that. We're going to see if we can just get a lot of extra silver, but I'll bet you the more stuff we keep building, the more furniture we continue commissioning, the more money they're going to make, and I think they'll be just fine. Oh my gosh, somebody has sheep. That's outstanding. Hey, question. Martel family, are you going to be willing to buy some more sheep? Let's make sure we set your priority over here, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you've only got one sheep. We need more. Go buy the sheep. There we go. Yeah, they did it. See? Oh, it's perfect. They went and bought their own little sheep shoops. Okay, so now they'll start getting more wool production, since one of them died, and that means more stuff for the Greg family. This is perfect. A rope-making family. You know, I actually do benefit from this a little bit. Yeah, okay. It's another use for yarn, which means now there's going to be some market competition for yarn produced by the Martells between the Craigs and whatever new family I just picked up, but it's another industry I can use. I'm going to go ahead and request that farming family I was talking about. We'll go for some fairly high proficiency, and I don't know if we need 3 generations exactly, but the more skilled they are, generally the better, right? So let's go ahead and request this. 2 generations. It's going to spend like all of my favor points, but I think that's going to be fine. So 4 people on the way. That's not as big as I would have thought, but they're going to end up having a skill of 7, not 6. All right, so in 2 days, they will arrive. Perfect, and I've got a little house ready to go for them. Now here's something you may not know. There is actually a way to track some current market prices, and the reason I'm looking at this is I just got a pop-up warning me that the Cape apparently has become unprofitable. So I guess the Craig family is going to stop making these entirely, or at least a caravan is not likely to sell them, and they're not willing to purchase any of these. That's interesting. Similar issues for robes. We could use this to try and keep track of various different products to see what ends up making a lot of money, and maybe also what is currently facing a bit of a shortage, thus driving up the demand. All right, now that tax day is here, I think this is where I'm going to go through my warehouse, and we are going to change everything up. No longer is anything going to be free for the locals, and I mean nothing. So you may now have, let's say, market prices on some planks, but we will give you a slight discount, so at least it's cheaper than buying from a caravan, so you'll prioritize buying from me rather than someone else. My thought here is we do want this to still be cheap enough that people are easily able to make some sort of profit. That's what I'm going for, but I also want to make sure that people want to buy from each other too, so I actually can't reduce the price too much or they'll never buy from each other and they'll only buy from me. Ooh, that's an interesting thought, isn't it? Huh. In that case, I could set a custom price. So don't buy from the caravans, buy from me before that happens, but also buy from the locals instead if you have a better option. Yeah, that kind of works, actually. This is a way of ensuring the money doesn't leave the town, but also flows amongst each other instead of directly to me, or I'm just going to have to grant it out later. Okay, all the prices have been adjusted. Everyone is bringing their taxes into me. Let's build some more storage because, as is often the case, I find myself almost completely out. Boom, there we go. Okay, all looking good. Let's see what we get out of this. I got a load of stone tiles. That's interesting. I did get some stone blocks. I don't think I want these stone tiles. Hey, masons, can you, like, stop doing that? I prefer stone blocks I can use for other basic things. Though it's kind of cool that this is going to be an option for me. Anyway, Rames family, guess what? I can finally let you start doing your dang job. Enjoy these stone blocks, bud. Oh, here's something good. Okay, in the bloomeries, we are actually seeing some iron getting smelted into bars. Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to have some useful stuff we can get rid of. Plus, this mountain's getting dug up, but look how many ores there are. There's a lot. Since I seem to have enough goods to go around for everyone right now, honestly, things are looking pretty solid, let's go ahead and start working on the clergy. We said we wanted to do that, and I stand by it. So, we need to get ourselves a library, and I'm going to place this kind of close to the manor because I'm pretty sure that our nobles will enjoy studying in the library as well. This needs to be somewhat large-ish because I believe we need writing tables, where we are going to be able to produce some writing, so take paper and turn that into manuscripts. We'll also need to have some bookcases where we can store those manuscripts. But this kind of functions, I think, like, I don't know, almost like a study area. Like, if you cannot write stuff out, you're not able to advance your learning skill. So we'll build some of those. We'll also make sure we get some nice big bookcases, kind of like this. And that's going to be our small little library. Beyond that, we'll need a quarters. Now, the quarters I will place up this direction. For now, we'll kind of have that a little bit off from the church. And this is going to be just like anything else. It's kind of like a cottage, but for the clergy. And then for the church itself, this thing's going to be huge. Yep, big, big honkin' church. Oh, this is going to be so expensive to build out, isn't it? Yep. I'll tell you what, the carpentry family is about to make bank for building out a church for me. Let's get a simple roof on this thing over here. We'll have a couple of different doors, and we will need to also place a speaking table. We'll try to center it roughly in the room. This should have enough spaces for, like, everyone to come and worship God. So I'm hoping we're not going to have any issues with the clergy. Not that I haven't assigned anyone yet, but as a reminder, I'm pretty sure that you end up having a relationship penalty with the clergy for every person that is unable to attend on a Sunday service. So you need to make sure you have enough seating for all of them. And at this point, I should have more than enough seating, I would hope. It's kind of exciting to see the church finally going up. We've been building up to this moment for a good long while. The question is, who are we going to give to the clergy? We did originally plan on giving up these little forager families down over here, right? A father-daughter duo. Hand them off, and that would be kind of fine with me. We might want to pick up one or two other folks. I'm also wondering if we should actually send, let's say, my noble daughter to go and be like a nun and help lead the effort for the clergy, because you want to have that reading and writing skill. And right now, the nobles are the only ones who have that skill, and otherwise, let's be honest, they've been kind of useless for a while. Actually, one of them can write, the other can't read. Wait a minute, did they forget how to read books because we haven't had any manuscripts for so long? Oh boy, that could be. You know something else I find very tempting down here? I see 2 cattle. We could try getting some cattle into our town. That could be kind of fun for us. And maybe, let's see, 2 females. That means milk. I do like that. They're not too expensive either. Let's go ahead and buy both of them. And the idea is we'll try handing that off to my stewardship farming family so they have something to do while the crops are a-growing. And we have our little cow farm set up for our 2 cows over here. I don't know where the second one went. There it is. It got lost. All right, it's back now. We also placed on a churn, which means we can start making some butter and cheese using the milk. Beautiful. Okay. And all of that goes directly into my own coffers. We're now applying a roof over the church, as well as, oh, hello, a fishing family. Don't think we need another one of those. As well as the other quarters for our clergy, so pretty soon it's going to be time to go ahead and add them into the colony. All right, let's go ahead and start assigning some members of the clergy. I think it's time. So we'll find the Fourneau family. Let's see the family over here. So I think we're going to let Lucy take over the family business, which is managing a handful of fruit trees, and that's kind of it. She's fairly smart is the thing, but Berger is old, and he's even smarter. So we're going to make you our first clergy member. You're going to leave your family, and off you go. Lucy is now all on her own. If we can get her married off at some point, that'd be kind of fun. That can happen, as people do have, like, romances and can marry off and have kids. We haven't seen that happen yet, but it is something that can totally happen. I also feel like the Graham family over here, we have probably too many members of this. So maybe there's someone else over here we can get rid of who's relatively smart. Fritzeberg, you'll do fine. Let's send you to the clergy over here as well. And then finally, even in my own noble family, I think it might be worth trying to grab somebody here. So let's take, let's say, my daughter. Oh, she's got her reading skill back. Yay! Or Ortich. Ortich is smarter. Let's go ahead and send my son off to the clergy. Bada boom. All right. So 3 members of the clergy. Now, this is going to get tricky because everyone's sockage includes a little bylaw where a portion of their resources, namely food, fuel, all that stuff, goes off to the clergy. Also, it is expected that whenever a noble family goes to a Sunday Mass service, they are going to pay a small tithe to the clergy over here. So the nobles are going to start burning through a little bit of my money by virtue of simply going to church. But honestly, that's fine, because now that we have some clergy up and running, we should be able to, I don't know, start doing some stuff with them. So what can we do with the clergy? Well, let's take a look at that villager book and we'll see. So over here, just like with my domain and my ability to assign some of my personal servants to be cooks or guards or whatever it's going to be, we can do the same sort of thing here with the clergy. Now, right now we have 3 novices. These 3 folks need to be getting properly initiated before they're going to be able to do anything. So I don't know that we're going to get a lot of value out of these guys, at least for a bit. But eventually we can assign them to becoming things like librarians, or beekeepers, or morticians, or nurses, right? These are all things that we'll be able to do. So I don't know how long it takes for them to get out of their initiation stage. I would think that Ortich is going to be in a better position for that. because with the reading and writing skill, that should help a little bit. Let's take a look at the tutorial book down here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is the clergy structure. Here's the initiation. Okay, so they will study these in the library, and if they're not able to, we have a relationship penalty, but that should be fine. We've got reading, writing, and consecration. This, I think, is something we are currently missing. But we need paper, and we need manuscripts. So I guess one thing that we have right now is the clergy may have a library, but there's nothing currently in it. So let's go back to that warehouse. We are going to grant to the clergy some of my manuscripts and paper. Let's say, I don't know, let's say 30 of my paper over here, and then like 20 or so of my manuscripts. Boom. All right, clergy, if you want to head over to the warehouse, you can pick up what you're needing, and then you can start studying and initiate yourself until you're proper clerics. There we go. Now we have some manuscripts over there, okay, and they're dropping a lot of things on the floor. Some paper stacks, a bunch of rags for some reason. Why exactly do you feel like you need to do that? But okay. Sure, you guys can have a little chest over here. I mean, you shouldn't have a whole lot of material wealth, but I guess leaving a bunch of rags on your doorstop feels a little bit disrespectful. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, so over here, Frithiberg has taken some paper and is now working on the writing skill. Probably gonna take a very, very long time, but there we go. Learning writing. I'm watching a guard chase around a deer over here in the church, by the way. They're all stuck in the walls, and I'm like, let's get rid of the stupid deer. But now look at it run, and the guard can't catch up to it. We're picking up a tanning family next. Okay, that's good. So we're one step closer to being able to produce some leather. Where the heck am I actually going to house you people, though? That's a great question. How about over here closer to the edge of the map? I'm sure this will be fine. Of course, what's going to be involved in getting some tanning actually up and running? There's a tannery. Takes tanning kits, logs, scraping logs. Looks like it's mostly an outdoor facility, which is perfect, so you guys can have this right next door. A family that is consistently running low on money over here is our smelting family, because they have no one to sell their goods to, so they're spending a load of money buying up coal, ores, and so on, but they're getting nowhere near enough what they're going to need here. Well, we'll probably just continue giving them some extra money with which to survive, so maybe a bit of extra for working the furnace, and I'm going to have to keep granting them some cash. Not that that's a very big deal, it's just showing me at least where one inefficiency is currently taking place. The good news is I'm actually making a pretty decent amount of money. I've been hovering around 37 gold when I was down to about 30 for a while. So we're actually proving ourselves to be fairly profitable just through our taxation. Speaking of which, it's tax day. Hooray! How are we doing as far as our clergy learning some skills? Burger over here is over halfway learning writing. You are done writing. Now you're working on learning how to read what you're actually writing. You'd think the two would go hand in hand, but you might be wrong. Anyway, where's our other person? Ostrid, whatever. Let's find him real quick. Hang on. Want to see how he's doing. He's the one who should be the furthest along. There you are. You have... Where are you? Tell you what, let's just find you straight out. You have 26% consecration. Boo. All right, so you still have a ways to go before you're going to finish learning what you need to learn. A pregnancy? A pregnancy? Hold on. You know how I said that you were able to actually have children? Well, what do you know? There's actually a child on the way for our carpentry family. Nice. A blacksmithing family. Yes. All right, at long last, our smelter's going to have someone to sell to. What I really want to do is get some tools out of the arrangement. I would really love to find out that someone is able to start manufacturing tools that people can use, because that, I guarantee, is going to be a very lucrative business. People spend a lot of their money buying this stuff from the caravans when they come through. Now I can own the new means of production. Now here's the only problem I've got with getting a forge up and running. A lot of this stuff requires an architect to build. And we've been kind of stuck here. I haven't had an architect come through in, well, a very long time. And as a result, I can't build a lot of things I need. Whether that be, you know, the glass furnace, or apparently any of the stuff for the forge either. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for me to get these industries up and running. We're stymied by one thing. What I would do is probably wait until the end of autumn, at which point we hopefully will get enough favor points that I can then request an architectural family to come in, and that solves all of my problems. Oh, I caught someone in the act of theft. Amelfred Corbett, our miller, what were you thinking? You ran over here and stole from these guys. Why does everyone want to keep stealing from the Walsh family? Whatever, I marked him for imprisonment, so a guard's on the way, and he dropped everything on the ground. You bunch of idiots. Oh my gosh, an architecture family, yes! Okay, haha, we don't need to wait for the king at all! Perfect! That's what I was looking for. Let's get them a nice, humble abode right away. A child has been born, little baby. Actually, born as a teenager, apparently, but there we go! Look at him go! Yay! New life in the colony! Oh, that feels so rare and exciting. Tax day cometh once again. How are we looking as far as the king? Looks like we may be short on blueberries for some reason. Is no one actually harvesting any of these blueberries? It's a little bit concerning, actually, but okay. Everything else, though, looking pretty good across the board. I think that the king is going to end up being very, very pleased, but he's not going to have enough blueberry muffins. And the tax collector has arrived. Good news is, I found enough blueberries and stuff to seize from people that we should end up being fine. Is a bear fighting a horse down here? It totally is. Well, that's an amusing fight. Anyway, yep. Come and take what you want, whatever you think you're owed. I don't know. I've managed to meet the king's demands, but only barely. Actually, our economy's looking super duper solid across the board right now. And with the architect, we are building out our forge. We've got stone walls everywhere, since I thought that might be just a little bit safer. We're manufacturing bricks now that we have the ovens. And guess what? We're also able to start making some glass. Finally, it only took like a year and a half. The king is pleased once again. I get another 100 favor points for fully meeting his requirements. We are now up to 25%. Are you starting to break out a small smile? I think I see a small little smile there, Kingy Ting. And what do you want this time? Oh my god, you want a lot. I think he keeps ramping it up by like 100% every time. He wants 1,500 corn next time. Good god. Oh no, okay. Lots of yarn. 260 yarn? Oh no. I'm not sure my economy is quite set up to do that. It's almost like I need another tailoring farm family just so I can be making yarn. Yikes, dude. Oh, guys, here comes something kind of important. Okay, so Ortrich over here, Simpleton, my noble son, has finished gaining the reading, writing, and consecration skills and is now participating in an initiation. I was actually a little worried because he wasn't doing anything for a while, but it's been a couple of days and now apparently there is a ceremony where his father is bestowing upon him the divine right of the church, or something, I guess. So no longer is he a simple novice, he is, in fact, a monk! Yay! So I guess now we could assign Ortrich a role. Oh, let's see. Who is going to actually work in the church? That's my question. We need somebody who can... Let's find out real quick. Who actually gives the Sunday sermons? The minister holds a service in the church. There is a bishop, and that holds services in the chapel for the nobles, but we don't have that. So my son, then, shall therefore become our local minister. Boom, he now holds that role. Okay, and I think today was a Sunday service day, but it's a little bit late in the afternoon, so I guess we'll have to wait until next week. Well, it is time for Sunday service, the first ever sermon. Look at them all gathering in one area. Holy crud, we're filling this church out. It is packed. Wow. I don't even know if I have enough seats for all of this. I don't. I had so many benches and it's not enough space. Wow. It's a testament to how large our town has grown. Truly prosperous as heck. Wow. And we pretty much filled out the entire map at this point as well, so I feel like this is probably a pretty good place to end this series. Though, to be fair, there's actually still a lot more to do in the game. I mean, we haven't even had a chance to touch all the different noble professions and such, right? Because there's quite a few of those to go around. So we haven't got all of our stable hands, we haven't got an army going together, we haven't been putting together jewel crafters or artists or theaters. Yeah, there's a lot more we can still do in this game, but we were successfully able to, at the very least, get a rudimentary clergy going. We had a Sunday service, and that should make people feel a lot happier and closer together as one tight-knit community. And we have so many production chains, and I'm adding more. I mean, getting the leather working up and running over here, too. Yep, I think this was a very, very, very successful jump into Lords and Villeins. Hope you guys enjoyed this series. As you can see, it's a pretty cute game that actually gets a fair bit in depth, and balancing an economy and all the different production chains and the laws of supply and demand can actually get fairly involved. This is not a quick jump in, have a little fun, and get out kind of a game. This is something you want to spend some time really crafting a proper feudal society. And it really can be challenging in that way, but oh, is it rewarding when it all works out like a finely oiled machine. Thank you again to Fulcrum Publishing for sponsoring this series. Very much appreciated for you guys. I had a lot of fun with that. Of course, you guys can find a link in the description down below if you guys would like to learn more about Lords and Villeins. My name is Pravus. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.